Nechinyanga makubi saba baada y'uburuki buruosai okuingira mu ofisi hongo ofisira iyo mundinginya ne buri haburu buri ngambolanga mbwe buri muruki uingirao mpaka yengire nende baruki basio nechinyanga makubi saba baada y'uburuki buya habu no kuingira ne bodahu lambe na makwasina kabosirisie okulondo kanande malolo kabwe akababola bari murura mu ofisi kuno sirisia ndala chibiri chidaru chine chirano mwelola ngori manifesto yabwe olwarero ndakulo manomera magwakaraka bosirisi akabosirisi kubare bahola chinganga chindidi onyelola ngori SMS mundu bichu kakasina kabosirisi kumawakaria aka avamenyi onyelola ngori hasla kumahuwa akakunyola chiloni amanwa hera ohuyini sibwa mawakaria aka CRB alala nende mawakaria kabani bosirisi asi wa mahuwa akechinyumba nemirimo eke serikali wakishamba bamenyi bawe banyorere okunyola byakuri yakwefuala nende kunyola abundu abamenya nyabalanga mulusungu bari housing nesina ese oburuki wasayebu sirisiye asi wa housing nende amakuwa aka CRB ama barabana biashara mabamenyi baranyola sende nangori priska chuki kanoposikecha asi wesipindi esumu Oriyomuno omuloro muherwa hunondokera kumahuwa kariya kabani kachiriri sibuwa muburuki obuyaha obanu bwingire nengula njake mborendi sai bari echinyanga mahumi saba ninja kande mahuwa aka CRB mulusungunya lolangori Credit Reference Bureau ne omanyere mbwe omuningeya kwesi yalo omwami William Samoei Ruto yawolare nibula mosi kuno okwa November buri mumenyi wesi yalo ya Kenya anabayini siwe mu CRB Nora manyera akoha hurere okwekesi ya kumbone sina siyabola okulondokana nende mahuwa akenekana. Uchake ndo huringana mbe CRB ni sina. Muluzungula balanga bari CRB C ni credit, R ni reference, B ni bureau. CRB mulusungu bari Credit Reference Bureau nesi wanda siria esiri licensed as your Central Bank of Kenya. Nebandu bano bakola mirimo under the banking onyalogolori Credit Reference Bureau Regulations 2008 yabalanga bari CRB Regulations. Emirimo kyabwe nkuru bano bukule loan na rani pa loan no bihabidahihane babechana ira yao no barira abundu abalanga asi wa Credit Reference Bureau. Ebyo kesi yambwe ngula byabere ngisonyala wanyola mirimo sonyala wachirisa ngula ngwa mungira indi ama ndala okulondokana nende nibaringala mbwe asi wa CRB umani hanuri kanokosi omuningina kwesi yalo echana bolari abandu bosi abari asi wa CRB banaye nisibwa umosi kuno okwa November oyini siwe weringa lewo mbwe status yao amangulo manihani oriori asi wa CRB neni bola mahuwa akomuningina kwesi yalo yabola ari milioni chine kula milioni chine nde chirano aba Kenya abari asi wa CRB banayinisiwa ohula umosi kuno okwa November omuningina kwesi yalo kwabola kuri omuningina ni omwami Honorable William Samoei Ruto mbe asapota CRB kama ingira iria iyo kurera bulala kubarewa bana babukula chiloni mulusungu bari mu financial sector nekatakati ya bolari kata ndabulana no buichao okurera bulala ama kurera discipline sibi haire bikaire omumenyi owesi yalo ya Kenya okayo kunyola kata ngemirimo mbokulo kubera ariwa se CRB yabolari CRB ichende inkrairia iyo kubola iri uno na bukule loni yekese credit score no kubola mbwe nikaro bukule loni kudabulo ya bukule loni rina na rukulipari ne bakuberese score kuno ndokana ngulo haire ngulo lipanga iloni lakini yebo sibi haire bukaire okunyola mirimo mukisehemu chikabahana kurekerese kulola buri yabolari kana bugucho hapo murekerese alafu kubego imba asoma kwa CRB.
First, I am very happy that between 4 and 5 million Kenyans will, by beginning of November, they will be out of the blacklisting. That is very important. Very important because these 4 million Kenyans have been excluded from any formal borrowing because of blacklisting, and they have been left at the mercy of Shylocks and predatory lenders that exploit them. And many Kenyans pay as much as 1,000% for credit. The fact that they will now be out of that space is a very positive development. And I want to commit here that the government of Kenya is not against credit listing or credit bureau facilities. In fact, we support CRBs as a mechanism of instilling financial discipline in our financial sector. What we are asking, and I think we are on the same page on this, and I've had a long conversation with the governor, what we are asking is we don't want credit listing to be an all or nothing, in or out engagement. We want credit listing to be a facility that gives everybody a chance to be their best in their own time. Instead of saying you are in or out, we should have a credit scoring mechanism so that we have graduated from the least to the best. And everybody can have a chance, even if you are somewhere at the bottom, you can always walk your way up as you learn the ropes in the financial sector.
Uriyo muna mula muhera dola wakarekesa ni mula wakarekesa hufunye go inyuma ni karwenye roho manyori mwe credit record ya wiriendi ama mwako ka CRB ba original record sina asi wa CRB chia obukula isimu yao bukula star alafu reo chine chidaru yani alafu mamalo malisani ndi hash bukula star chine chidaru hash oholo star 433 hash banokubalisa bintu bingi yao alafu ringala credit listing yao temo ringala ngo hure November nyabulari umunina kwabola kuri ochaka November munaba mwini siwe hu blacklisting ya CRB eburingala oyini siwe amo siro yini siwe nukuendelea kuma kwa Kenya ko aka CRB uringala mako waka listing omuningina kwabola kuri huni bandu bahaire barebwe ku CRB okulondokana nende scoring kulondokana nende credit yo mundu yani kuringale borrowing yawo iriendie versus payment ewe bochiro wasa basende chino wabukula loan orwe ilipori ohirambwe ohaye kunyola mirimo kulokubero nde CRB omuningina kwabe chana order bari afadhali muiche nende system yekesia mbwe nabaholo yabukula sende fulani ni yabukula mosi fulani na ruguli pangari ndakire kwerebe mbwe bari abantu bano bacana mirimo okulondokana nde CRB baloma lo mwe babore bari habambura hola muriyo ewe kama mumanyi wabukula loan yabe katakana wala bari bayiniyo wande mlo hakira kyo kulipa ne nore mu ingira we panga kulipa habore kere sembo muningina kwa wala kulondokana nde makwa aka kubetana credit scoring kulondokana umuntu ngabukule loan nenga ilipa.
I am happy Governor has told me they are having engagement with the CRBs so that we can change the credit listing mechanism. Instead of blacklisting, we can have a graduated mechanism that allocates rating on every citizen that is borrowing in the manner in which they have borrowed and in the manner in which they have paid back. That happens even for countries when we are borrowing money from IMF, from the World Bank. That is a universal principle of rating people on, or scoring people on matters credit. So that development is a very positive development for the millions of Kenyans who suffer great loss. They are excluded from formal borrowing, and they are also excluded from many other things. Some people lose jobs. Some people lose opportunity to be hired because when they are asked to bring their status, if you are blacklisted, then you are told you are not a very good person. So that will now redeem close to 4 million Kenyans. And I want to say to Safaricom and your partners, you're walking in the right direction.
Ne omnoro muherwa omanyire ngwe interest eya Fuliza ichiasi nende 50%. Akokosi kaboluwa muhwana kuno kwaruo kati yomunyinya kwesi yalo nende baria abakola mirimo kikabohane abari bechiralala noringala Safaricom, KCB nende NCBA. Safaricom, KCB ni bank, NCBA ni bank. Bechiralala babola batibone chino kwikale bulule buri kuna chipungusia chikurie ili bara bamenyi bamedo kuba nendo bula mugura buchirira okubirira nende interest dudui. Ne mako akene kano omuningina kwesi yalo kwecha mukuberesania nomination treasury nende ICT mbo bakole alala balole baraningira sina yabanyala barera okuchiririsibwa buri kula uko bakole chinganga bari musero ya Kenya okubirira mukududuye okuwa interest kano kosi kabolwa ne omwemerisi owa esiwanda Safaricom yicarasingira na bolari hududuye Fuliza nende 50% ili baraba kola chinganga medo kusaba sende eyo harongo ringeyo norinde rienya yo kuchakia ha biashara kama kumedaho kubiria byo bano kusia mbwe sai Fuliza onanyola asi nende 50%. Kuma kwa kene kana no kurendelea obaimba hayene ino ndakasa mberesie mberi omwemeresi wa Safaricom ebiha abole ombwe kano kosi akaduduye mungira sina akurekeresi.
So I want to talk about both the power of M-Pesa, the power of partnership between private sector, but also when we involve government, including regulators, we can create great things. We can really transform lives. Safaricom purpose is all about transforming lives. We launched M-Pesa back in 2007, where there was only 600,000 loan accounts in the country of 35 million. So there was a lot of excluded people. Today, we have grown to more than 20 million loan accounts due to services designed for Mwananchi, such as M-Shwari, MKCB, Fuliza, amongst others. The impact has expanded and afforded credit access. It is demonstrated by stories of ordinary people like Mama Lena, one of our customers. Mama Lena began her entrepreneurship journey by borrowing a few thousand shillings through M-Pesa to start a business. And I know, Your Excellency, you've spoken about many stories like those of Mama Lena. Her business has expanded to employ another 5 women in total. They support more than 25 other dependents. So over 600,000 Kenyans have also purchased their first ever smartphone, because as we think about access, digital access is very important, and access to smartphones is a big enabler of that. So we are driving what we call Lipa Mdogo Mdogo, enabling them to participate in the digital economy by paying 500 shillings as a deposit and 20 shillings off their M-Pesa every day. We launched Fuliza, as John has said, in 2019, the first ever service that empowered customers to complete a mobile money transaction in case of insufficient funds. So being a short-term product. The innovation came after we observed that our customers would, within 2 days, repeat 50% of the M-Pesa transactions that had failed due to lack of funds. Fuliza, therefore, empowers a customer to complete the transaction when they need to, rather than postpone and miss the opportunity simply because they do not have a few hundred shillings or even 10 shillings. The governor was telling me about someone trying to buy medicine and not having the amount to actually complete that transaction. So beginning, to John's point, beginning 1st of October, together with our partners NCBA and KCB, we are further building on our Fuliza partnership to empower more Kenyans with even more affordable access to credit. All customers will enjoy Fuliza free of the daily maintenance fee for transactions below 1,000 and below 3 days. So for the first 3 days, they won't have to pay any daily maintenance fee, which they pay today. This affects 80% of the current Fuliza transactions, enabling us to further achieve Fuliza's true goal of empowering customers in case of insufficient funds. The 3-day free daily maintenance fee period will allow customers who currently use Fuliza to complete more transactions while attracting more customers to the solution since it's more affordable. In addition, we are reducing the daily maintenance fee by 50% for Fuliza transactions of 1,000 and below. Customers will also enjoy reductions in daily maintenance fee for transactions above 1,000, up to a maximum of 70,000. We will maintain the Fuliza access fee at the current 1% across all transactions, including those of 1,000 and below. This establishes Fuliza as the most accessible and affordable credit facility at only 1% of the transaction value, especially when customers repay within a relatively short period of time. In total, these changes will in cumulative lead to a 50% overall reduction in Fuliza tariffs across the board.
Oriomna mnara muherwa oyo ni mwemeresi wa Safaricom Peter Ndegwa akona mabaka boreho ngula mbere Jacqueline Mbolambwe okudunduyiwa okwa Fuliza nende 50%. Ne omunina kwesialo kosi kwa boroma wakena kokuri amaho wakano kokududuya interest husende cha Fuliza chinarera huchirisi kwa kuria ohubuhuli ohobaholi chinganga mu sector yeneyo na malana na obukula nominee owa treasury and ICT mbobeche ne product iria inachiririsia elikula ili baraga okubira omako akenako sinabaraga bongale nende bakoli chinganga okubira omako akenako akafuliza akulekeresie President William Ruto omako akene akokududuya 50% asiwa Fuliza.
We have agreed, and I am happy the CEO of Safaricom has announced here that access to Fuliza, the interest rate will come down by 50%. That is a step in the right direction. And many people will benefit from this step. I am very confident that we can do more and we can do better. And I want to encourage Safaricom and your partners to continuously assess this facility so that progressively we can move towards a much more favorable interest regime that gives majority of Kenyans the opportunity to have flexible arrangements on their financial requirements. I also want to say the following, that Fuliza is addressing a certain category of borrowers on short term. As you have indicated yourselves, there is more traction towards 14 days, 11, 14 days. It should speak to you that you need to think about other instruments and other facilities that should be able to take care of a slightly longer term borrowers. I also want to state here that the government of Kenya, and I have the nominee for Treasury here and the nominee for ICT here, these two gentlemen will be working with you in the financial fintech space because we want to work on credit, especially for our micro, small, and medium enterprises. That is the space where we have the largest opportunity. That is the space that employs almost 80% of our population. And yet, they are constrained by access to credit.
Ne amahuwa kuhusabako omuniminya kosi kwa bore kuri mbwe adahire alole mbeli hula area Kenya mwako ka GDP ilulure 9% mpaka 25. No manyira mbwe swahasaba esi obula hao. Unuho wasabu bako so ringala horisia kisiao sirinde sina. Unuho wenende rienya riria nende mani nende chuoni yuhu chiririsia erisabari yao. Ya borare adaholo dari erihula area wa menyi nende waholi chinganga musialo sa Kenya sibidevesia mborimu county sina haba. Adaholo mberi hula rino richiririre mpaka chama SACCOs na the cooperatives vambede ndehuba nendo kunyalaburia obo kunyola sende echo kuchiririsia erihula eria bana siama erihula eria bana SACCO na the cooperatives mungira eria yo kusaba ne kuno hosabe osipaka ohakikishie mbwesia kisiao siroho nende sindu siria esyo kudirira erisaburie nero hakurekeresi akaboro mapakenika.
In the short term, the assignment Eliud Owalo and my good friend Professor Njuguna will have is to structure with yourselves the Hustler Fund. We are ready to commit public resources to underwrite some of the risks so that chamas, cooperatives, SACCOs can access credit at single-digit interest rate. This is the future we are looking at. And from where I sit, we can make it a reality in a very short time. In this space, we should also, and I have heard from NCPA, we should also find the model that encourages savings. Borrowing functions best when we have savings, because you cannot borrow what you don't have. And we have continuously borrowed the savings of others, and that is why we are becoming slaves to our lenders. It is time every Kenyan, and we are working with other sectors, including NSSF and other financial instruments, to make sure that we take our savings from the current maybe 9, maybe 10% of GDP to 20, 25% of GDP. That way, we can have not just a secure present, but we can also have secure or ensure our future. I am looking forward to working with all the actors in this space to ensure that we build our savings culture and our borrowing must not only be responsible, but it must also be affordable. I like the words the governor said here about affordability. That way, we can spur the activities of many of our micro, small enterprises who are struggling today, not because their enterprises cannot do well, but they are limited by access to credit and access to financing for what they want to do. We will also be working on ensuring that our stock exchange also works better. It can also be another source of making sure that we can raise resources that can help build our enterprises. That is why I have created the Ministry for Trade, Investment, and Industry, so that we can look much more closely to our financial markets, work much more closely with our state-owned enterprises, look critically at some of them, and assess the ones we can bring the Kenyan public to be owners of some of these state-owned enterprises, so that we can share in the profits, and we can also release some resources for us to be able to deliver on some of our infrastructure requirements instead of borrowing either from the market locally or borrowing from the external market.
Ne norimbwe orimuholinganga anirimbo orimwana biashara orabane indenga moyo haba omuninginya kwesialo kuhwani isi ministry ilango Ministry of Trade, Investment and industry inahusika nende erihula erabaholi chinganga okuchaka mungira idudu yeyo nende eingira ibunifu noba nori ofungule biashara yao ori mundu uria ochiririsia einganga ndala ama chibiri ministry no ikwanisibwe iri kamewe mumenyi omede kunyola buhonyi buria obukwanisibwe mungira iria ikwane ira richiririsia rikwane mukuchiririsia einganga yao Orio muno kulokereza makwa ka CRB saba kumwe machi ngufunya kutakulela kuri nesina esi oburuki buchakisye uchinyanga makumi saba obuchiririsia amakwa aka housing ngula mbore ninjaka mbwene mirimo eke oburuki kuhakisha mbwe omumenyi wayo arinende ebia huria arindo kwefwala narinda bundu wamenya kuchakere nda bundu wamenya ende ngulo kachiririsia erimenya lyao orachiare ha Mlori muherwa owenga ngara Air Western Nyota TV ohurula muchimbaka chosi echa mumbo obwemeresi owenga ngara Air Western Nyota TV muhuborio muno bulori bwao omlori muherwa obwemeresi owenga ngara Air Western Nyota TV buhurerere obulori busangasia mungira eyebihaya mulusungu onyalobolori kuri free to air Obulori buno omulori muherwa bunakufukirewe ngomulori ohulole vipindi ebingangara Air Western Nyota TV kubihaya. Orio muno omulori muherwa hulio bulori bwao obwingangara Air Western Nyota TV. Ohulula kubwemeresi obwingangara Air Western Nyota TV kuhuba orio muno. Western Nyota TV ano niyo. Ne omulori muherwa hakurebeho amakwa karikurebwa nende buri mumenyi obanori musialo sia Kenya nendebe mbwe okukosa burime hunakaira okuchiririsia karamalalo aka esialo sia Kenya sirinasio kumakwa kare kuberesanya echinyumba chiria echa buri mumenyi anyala yalipa akona makwa akomurukyo sialo abora asikanyari kana haba ne kata kare kunho wimbahe mpaka obeno burime kunho wimbahe mpaka obenende technology iria ichiririsia ohwimba ho mungira iria rahisi ama mungira iria kunyala kwa yachiririsia ama kwa kare kesende ne kunho wimbahe mpaka obenende sende chiria echinosirisia ohwimba hibweno akosika borwe nasi akokaborwe ende muninginya kwesialo omwami William Samoei Ruto Olono kanande muninginya kwesialo omwami Samoei Ruto ya borari oburuki unahola mirimo alala nende chimbeka chikabuhane nende chitauni ili bamedo kunyola burime obunachiririsia emirimo eke oburuki wasai emirimo kiria eke uhakikisha muburu mumenyi wesialo sia Kenya alinda bundu walanga mbwe ingo Kumahu wake nako nukuraka chiririsia mumbaha ichiririra mayibunyofu hakurekere sembo mruki kwesialo kwa bende sina kubola kumahu wake nekana nibari abuna langa mkuru kwa njenga mu imbeka ya Nairobi.
This whole plan was premised on a couple of things that we needed to sort out. First is to make sure that there is land that is available. Number two is to make sure that we have technology that can build houses faster and in a cost-effective manner. And number three, to make sure there is financing, both for construction and for mortgage, so that this plan can become a reality. A couple of things have been done. I think we have identified a couple of pieces of land that we can implement this program. I am certain that land will not become an impediment on matters of delivery of our housing plan. We will work with the cities, we will work with the counties so that we can make land available for this plan, the housing agenda, so that we can provide better shelter for our people. Because I made a commitment to the people of Kenya that housing is going to be a big part of our plan, not just to provide houses, but to create opportunities for employment and for enterprises to grow. Provide opportunities for the millions of people who will engage in this enterprise as plumbers, as electricians, as construction workers, as technicians, and a whole lot of people who will be participating in this exercise. We intend also to grow enterprises, the people who will make for us doors, the people who will make for us windows, hinges, and all the other construction products that will be required for us to complete these houses, including windows, window sills, and everything else that will come along. We are going to be partnering with our TVETs and our Juakali sector to produce those products so that we can grow those enterprises as well as we work on this housing plan.
Nari mumuta kwa mkuru kwa njenga Nairobi ya nomulingina kwesi yalo kwa bore kuri mbue emiradi kinacha kisibua nemiradi kino kinaba ohuhola mirimo nende oburuki wasai nemiradi aho kinaba kati wa TVET nende Juakali sector mbue weni karumbo mulukongo luwao wabere nweka ohuhwania madirisha wabere nweka ohuhwania miriangiro omundi ngine kubore kuri kubujusi wao obo bandengera muhuelewana mbwe ngabemba hachinyumba mubujusi wao obo onakolalla nende oburuki oburoguno ne makwa kende ka housing ama muradi kwa housing oko nikambo ndo bujusi buria obwa plumber amori electrician mbwe onabane dobwe yango obukunyola mirimo nende makwa asiwa muradi okwa housing eso hairo hole umdoro muherwa weyinie weringale ohole alalabo mirimo ilomete kwa yandikisia alalani nabo katakara mbobula ikampuni yao ne watrainer asiwa TVET ewofunya musukudisi wako la mesono bolori government leda ho holala nangu mirimo nindo bujusi bukwania imesa nindo bujusi bukwania ridirisa kumako akenako PS hinga ya borari yibechere standardization ile ingira yo kubola kunikaribe no muriangiro kube inch fulani nikaribe na madirisa kabe inch fulani standardization yo inahongera mbuka tiles baria abari nende erienya rihunyase milimo kerero kinose bana bande obunyala bohulo kubera standardization inaholande PS hinga inarera ewe kama obanori nikarimbona nyola muradi kweno ko namanya onikali designer sina nikano muriangira ina sina mbanyire abalori bangi bula maswali kamurwereba mbwe amahuwa akechi nyumba enda amahuwa ko burime amahuwa karere idenga moyo na amahuwa karia akanobola mbwe odaka burime pegino reba title deed binakula chio ako kamaro kuyinisu wao nende omuningina kwestialo kubona kuri ndere ministry air lands nende ministry ya housing alala na bolari bano banakola bosimbirimo alala ili kubenende okuchirisiwa kulia kukwane mbomulusungu tana round time ivembwe ibe tana round time ima kududu isibua hare yari chikuhabirambi lakini sai bidudu isibwe mungira sina Ministry of Lands and the Ministry of Housing bariokola mirimo alala ili bidudu byosi bichirisibwe mungira ilia idahihana mbwe ohusirisia ohwe mirimo hulai kati wa Ministry of Lands and the Ministry of Housing omuni na kwesi yala kwakishe kuri bano bosi baberesiwe title deed mukuru kwa njenga baberesiwe title deed Ministry of Housing iberesiwe yavwe Ministry of Lands iberesiwe yavwe EACC iberesiwe yavwe and by the way nibara beresanya okay yechinyumba chiyenecho EACC yacha nilingana abantu sinabamenyera abundwana buri mundu wamenya mukuru kwa njenga yabalua bamenya bali uno Victor ngamenyerano ino ni nyumba yake uno Elkana ngamenyerano ino ni nyumba naye uno Derek ngamenyerano ino ni nyumba yake haronga bemba hao bayini yao sibanda si yao ni bemba neyo na beresuwa kipaumbele yo mukula burime ama mukula nyumba bwena hakulingana bere chinyumba chinongula chikwimba huwa mukruweni nukusiendelea kuma kwa kene kano aka Ministry of Lands and the Ministry of Housing ohola mirimo alala ohusirisia kuria erimenya rikwane kubara bamenyi besi yalo esi ya Kenya hakulo muradi kwenu
Bari waziri, how are you?
Manifesto ey'oburukibwa saayi baringala mahuwa aka housing ningulambona ninja akambwe nemirimo ekyoburuki kuhakikishia mumumenyi arinde chinyumba arinde byahuri ya yefuare na arinde ndalanga mbo ingo nigulwe mara mahuwa aka affordable housing ne kuchakira nende mahuwa karakabanike horaha mukuru kwa njenga ama kekoreha mukuru kwa njenga ngula mwandola icho ne chinyumba cyo kwimba huwa mukuru kwa njenga lakini kurachirisa mahuwa kenekano nindrabo langa buri mumenya na lipanga akurebe homberi PS hinga kumahuwa aka affordable housing. Affordable housing imaanisha mbwe ile inyumba ya mumenyi wa kawaida anyala yaba nende obunyala buri buhulipa na hara PS uboreho mbwa affordable housing lusungu nisina.
I'm really delighted to be here this afternoon for a couple of reasons. Number one, those who've been asking, what is affordable housing? It is not government building houses for people because government does not have enough resources to build houses for the citizens. And Article 43 says that everyone, all of us, not some of us, have a right to decent housing and adequate, basic sanitation. And so when His Excellency the President crafted his second term and he said that he wants that the dream of ownership, that's why we embarked on a very interesting journey. Ownership is not just about four walls and a roof. It also starts to heal our politics. It starts to make sure that everybody feels that they have a stake. So when you tell someone who now owns a house to go and burn another property, they know what ownership is all about. But also, it is the quickest journey out of poverty. We see that majority of our people, even those who own, end up owning them towards the end of their useful economic life. The effort that government partnering with private sector have put in together, all right, to make home ownership, to be a reality, all right. There are so many incentives, but if we can be able to simplify the message and say that if you're paying rent for 5,000 shillings, you can convert your rent to a mortgage. It's important that every opportunity like this one we get, we come and share and tell you what this affordable housing agenda is all about. Start saving today. I hope that this development and others are going to take off. We have got this type of developments. We have 124,000 units that are coming online. 124,000 units, this being one of them. So expect good news and a lot of these, and so we hope also you as Kenyans, all right? I know there's a lot of tweeting, tweeps, you call them tweeps, who criticize everything, they call it a scam, even before you look. Utabaki hapo kwa keyboard, calling it a scam. Wengine wakipewa nyumba. This pillar of housing is probably going to be also the one that is going to get out of this COVID pandemic. Why? Because you've seen what COVID has done to our economy. Housing is going to become a major component of post-COVID economic recovery. All right? So not only are we going to dignify our people, but we are also going to get our economy functioning again. The most important thing that we know, good people, is there is a government that cares about you.
Olimuna mularu muherwa oyoni PS hinga obanwemerere mahuwa aka housing ne hakuringale hombwe mama ka housing kano uburi mumenyi anadahirwa alipe sende echi akachiri ne ohulo no hando munina kwesi yalo abolari inose ni rent haba yo menya na lipanga jone sende chabalanga mulusungu bari mortgage byekesa mboro lipanga nyumba yao mbwe onalipanga nyumba yao ni bila fulani ni nyumba yao yao na harabo olari bachakerende bed sitter irende of course icho mukari irende ibafu mukari ne kuria onenyo kulipa bed sitter anafikiri walipe shilingi 1000 kumosi ne wobiriasi wa housing plan kurinde sector chibiri kurinde affordable house ne kurinde social housing plan harano kubamenyi ba mukruweni asi wa social housing plan kuria odaha bed sitter analipanga shilingi 1000 na 3,000 chino anachilipa kumiaka 15. Baada ya miaka 15 eyo nyumba inaba yae. Hao che category yo mumenyi okubiri. Category yo mumenyi okubiri ni one bedroom. Ni one bedroom wabula bari one bedroom onalipanga 5,000. Haronya no chagua. Wadaha bed sitter, wadaha one bedroom, wadaha two bedroom. one bedroom unalipa shilingi 5,000 asiwa social housing plan anombola kama huwaka industrial area mukuru kwa njenga ndikaroda hawa one bedroom norumeni wao kuma kwa chimba cha mali chimba chone the government mbohuru roda hawa one bedroom analipa shilingi 5,000 ku miaka 15 ne baada ya miaka 15 nyumba inaba yayi Uchehuri ya udaha 2 bedroom. Udaha 2 bedroom asiwa social housing plan analipa shilingi 7,500. Yani 6,500. Mbosele tunachilipa kwa miaka 15 ni baada yao inyumba yao inaba yaye. Sakira balanga bari mortgage. Mbwe baringala bari financial to mortgage. Hulu na hado muni hina kwesi aluku bora kuli from financial to mortgage. Mbwe nikara udaha olule from financial to mortgage uli percentage no ne baadaye chinaba inyumba yao inaba yao hakuringale ama kabanako asiwa affordable housing affordable housing mwalabari one bedroom inaba 6,600 unalipa miaka 15 ne two bedroom inaba 10,000 unalipa miaka bado ya 15 ne harano balabari baada ya kulipa sende eto nyumba inaba yao hakula kile sema ina pesa yalo nukubola mako wakene kano asi wa industrial area mkuruweni mkuru kwa njenga Nairobi.
Tunahitaji ardhi, na hiyo ardhi tutafanya kazi kama serikali na county kuhakikisha kwamba hiyo ardhi inapatikana, na hiyo ardhi itapatikana, na for local housing we will make the land available for free. Number 2, tunahitaji pesa ya construction financing. The private sector already has come through. We have commitments from different developers who are ready to construct the houses for us. All we need to do is to provide guidelines on the sizes and on the prices. How much is it going to cost? The ministry already has done its work. We already have a template of what is low-cost housing, what is a bed-sitter looking like, what is a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and the rest of the infrastructure that are required. And then finally, we need an offtake plan. When the houses are complete, we need a mortgage system that is going to enable the people paying 3,000 shillings to pay for 15 years, to pay for 20 years, and own the houses finally. We are going to do the first 2. I want to ask my good people, the legislators, nyinyi wabunge, na waomba tu kitu kimoja, munisaidie. Na tusaidiane ndio tuwapatie wale jamaa manyumba ya kuishi. Munisaidie tuwe na housing fund ambayo itatusaidia kufanya mortgage. Tumeleta housing fund bunge, ikachezewa karata mpaka haikufaulu. We are going to bring it back to parliament. And I want to ask my good members of parliament, it is the opportunity. In fact, the housing fund will give the government of Kenya the leverage to make sure that we can raise the money to provide mortgage for the ordinary people in Mukuru and every other part of Kenya to own a home. Please, good people, it's not too much to ask from those hustlers. It is not too much to ask. Na waomba waheshimiwa, tafadhali. Yeah, na waomba, because it's the only thing that is remaining for us to actualize this plan. At the moment, we are using the slum upgrading fund, but you know, slum upgrading fund can only go so far. The fund that will help us provide mortgage for 1-2 million houses is the housing fund. And I am confident that our parliament will work with us so that we can do the right thing and provide the financial infrastructure from construction to mortgage that will support the millions of citizens who today are living in informal settlements.
Ngulombore ninjaka nechindalo mahomi saba baada y'oburuki burobuno ingira mu buruki ne karoma kuwa kariaka bakulanga buri malolo kababola kari umura mu buruki kunosiriza kana mahuwa nenjakere ndo kubola mbo esindia no kuringala mbwe ni mirimo ekyo buruki ukakisha mbamenye babwe kuri nende ebya kuriya kuri ndo kwefwala ne kuri nda mundu akulanga mbo ingo kwacha kana kuringala kuri bachakere enda mahuwa aka oya abamahuwa aka housing mulusungu bara kuno yalo walanga mbo ingo neno kuringala muradu kwa bahorre ama karaka wachakisie ama kabachiririsia asi wa industrial area mkuruka njenga asi wa mahwa kechi nyumba bomloro muhero nesina esiona hola kama mumenyi ohusirisa mahwa kene kano obanori ni karibu sori mumenyi wa industrial area mkuruka njenga sini lazima wende nyumba haba lakini kilomita makichiririsi kwa nao onyaloba mbori plamba orimbo mundu uri ohole electricity orimbo kusia bintu bikabohane ibilondo kana nduchirisi bwa mugwiba kwa okwe nyumba obanori tafadhali sumo haichuri chakalukendo ocho sabe mirimo ama ochirisi inganga yao mungira iria inakera osi welange mbo mumenyuria omeyebula mukuria obukwanisiwe kuri ngarema kwa CRB nukuchaka nukubora kuri fuliza idudu ye interest in the 50%. Nemba kwa dudi yako omuni inakwesi yalo kulobole bandu from the ICT and the treasury mbobe hale alala beche ndi product iria inachiririsia erihula ire bakoli chinganga okura muchiza hemu chikabahani no banwe hale nondo kera wololori esienga ndiano mwendi kuendelea mpesa ama sosio kuendelea ona faidi korie nendesede chino chini siwe echichiririsia erihula ire bamenyi mungirandala amaindi esipindi no buruki kuriano okurerera kare kabani kachirira okulondo hande malolo akoburuki burobuno Nangori Priska Chuki ne buri haburi bule mana nimbola mbwe Western Nyota TV ningangara yao ikwane ingangara yo kulera karamakeni tukabanika kwao muchi county makumi kanende saba echibani chiri musendo CFS Kenya londokera kokosi buri haburi wachaka saa 1 chesiro mpaka saa 2 oriyo mwondo londokera wao mala nimbola mbwe Western Nyota TV ebindu bichenjanga ano niyo